Hey guys, I got a little surprise for you. As you can see, I acquired some new fish. Not the little guy in the front, but more the three in the back. Those are wild Esmeralda Discus from the Amazons. I believe they're from Colombia. And I had them for 3 weeks already. But I was waiting for the new year just to give it that little surprise, and also I wanted to make sure they would adapt well, so I wouldn't make a video about how to take care of wild discus and be like, damn, they all died. So this is my 3 wild discus that I had already for 3 weeks, and they're doing fantastically. Now in the beginning, it took them about 2 weeks to adapt, 2 solid weeks, and then I transferred them into this tank, which was not at the foot level as my other quarantine tank, and they're doing much better. And actually this fish that used to be sick, now he's doing a lot better also. He introduced them to how to eat and everything, so they are a lot less shy than they used to be. So this video I want to make it about how to take care of wild discus. So let's get it started. Wild discus are actually fish from the Amazons, the Amazon River Basin, and in their natural environment, depending on the seasons, they require, well, not the requirements, but the conditions in which they live vary a lot, like very high and low extremes. So I'll give you both extremes, and you'll just deduct whatever you think is best for your fish. There's also like the middle range in which you should stay in, but depending on the seasons, because there's 2 seasons. There's the rainy season, in which all the jungles where they are from, they're flooded, so they have a lot of fresh water, they have a lot of currents. But there's also the drought season, in which it's more stagnant water, very warm water. So these discus, they actually have to live through all this year in, year out. So when it comes to temperature, anywhere from 24 to 32 degrees Celsius, not Fahrenheit, Celsius, is acceptable. I keep mine at 28. So that gives you an idea. 28 is perfect. It's not too warm, it won't melt your plants, it won't kill the other fish, and it's just warm enough for them to have good metabolism. As for pH, they come from the Amazon, so there's a lot of organic detritus. Sorry, I'm a little bit dyslexic. A lot of organic matter in the water. So the pH is quite low, from 5 to 7.4. So 7.4 being the higher range. If the supplier had them for a while in your area and got them used to your city water, that's even better. They can adapt to pretty much anything, but very, 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 very slowly. So the best would be 6, but if you're in the 7s and they're still good, you're good also. The hardness also will depend on the changes of seasons, so they're quite resistant to any hardness. I'm having trouble talking today because I took all these notes, but anywhere from like 60 ppm to 400, they'll be fine as long as not mercury in your water. Some people use only reverse osmosis water that they purify and then remineralize. Some people opt for half tap water, half reverse osmosis, just to remineralize naturally. And some people like me use tap water. But you always have to use some prime to neutralize any heavy metal or ammonia in it, or some safe, which also dechlorinates. So it's very important to treat your water with something, okay? Because they don't have chlorine in their natural environment. Also, I like to use ChemiPure, which is a type of carbon with resin in it that removes a lot of the impurities. Some brands also use zeolite, which is a mineral powder that removes ammonia and nitrate and detoxifies the water. I use that, and carbon, very, very good quality carbon. So how often should your water change? Well, that, my dear, all depends on you and on your fish. If your tank is overstocked every day, 90%, If you have a good tank with good filtration, with good flow, and some plants to take care of it, every week, every 2 weeks, it will really depend on your tank. I cannot tell you. The best you can do is to test your water as often as you'd like, and just look at your fish, how they're responding, and look at the condition of your tank, at the water quality, and so on. I have here a thing from Seacam. It's just a little tag you put on the tank, and it tells you if ever you have any spike of ammonia, because some people like to power feed their fish, so like I do. So I always have to keep in check that there's nothing harmful in this water. Now this will probably not tell you if you have nitrate in the water, but it'll surely tell you if you have any ammonia in it. So always stay in the safe or below safe zone. Like right now, mine is safer than safe because it's even lighter than that one. So that's from Seacam. It has a viability of about a year. So after a year, get a new one. But it's very good to have just in case. So let's have a little close-up at these guys. I hope you can see them properly. I'm trying to have not too much reflection. They're actually really gorgeous fish right here. Okay, so diet. What kind of diet do Discus in the wild have? To your very great surprise, they're mostly surviving on veggies, not veggies, on the vegetarian diet. What I mean by that is that they mostly feed on algae, on plant matter, and at the very last of that list would be on aquatic crustaceans and invertebrates. So I know in this hobby a lot of people like to feed their Discus beef heart and a lot of protein to bulk them up, to make them grow really fast, but this is not their natural diet. This is not how you get a fish healthy. Yes, you will get it big, very round, but you will not get this to be a healthy fish. So the best is to feed very often, very good qualities of food, okay? And especially make sure they get their veggies, because if they have a deficiency in vitamin C, as someone once mentioned on my channel, hole in the head is assured to be there. So I like to feed them my own homemade food, which is a blend of so many seaweeds, spirulina, fruits, vegetables, and then I have all my aquatic crustaceans, fish, mollusks, and whatsoever added. Plus I like to add a multivitamin to that food. So when you get your new Discus, make sure you give them a variety of food, see what they like, see what they respond better to, and if it's not the healthiest option, let's say they only respond well to frozen brine shrimp, make sure to rinse it. Well, include other foods at the same time, so they have a little taste of both of these things, and then they eventually can like transition to other foods, and you know, not just brine shrimp forever. That's not too good for them. So how to adapt them to your tank when you first receive them? The best is to actually ask the importer or your supplier or whoever you got them from, what is their exact water parameters, what's their pH, their hardness, their temperature, what were these fish kept in prior to you getting them. It's super important because you want to make sure you match it as well as possible to diminish the stress factor of the fish. If your fish are just dumped in your regular tap water and they come directly from the Amazons, you can imagine the stress they're gonna endure, and they probably won't survive. Now, I won't tell you how much I paid for these Discus, but if you're getting wild Discus, it will be in the hundreds per fish. So make sure you don't mess it up, right? You don't want to mess it up at that price. And it's not just the price. I mean, it's a living being. You don't want to like mess up. So drip acclimate them to your tank very slowly, and then put them into a quarantine tank. Not your main tank, unless your main tank never had anything else in it, but yet is cycled. Get it? So if you have a main tank in which you want to introduce it to other fish, keep them in a quarantine tank for a month. And before you do any exchanges of water or whatsoever between your main tank and your quarantine tank, make sure your main tank has been dewormed, is parasite and bacteria free for at least a month, okay? That you didn't have a sick fish or any sorts of little weird things happening for a month, okay? Only then you can start giving them some water from the main tank and adapting them to whatever bacterial flora your current discus have, okay? Because they are like the native Indians, and if you have a flu from Europe and you bring this here to them, they're gonna die on you. They're just gonna die. And also make sure your wild discus are also clean and don't have parasites or bacteria that will kill your home discus. So it's a very delicate process. Make sure everyone's clean before you start exchanging water between your main tank and your quarantine tank. After a month of doing that and acclimating them slowly to your main tank, introduce them to your main tank with the same system of drop by drop for about an hour. So after you've dripped them for an hour, then you can put them in. And that's it. Then they should be good, and hopefully everything goes well after that. But it's expensive fish. They're delicate. They're not like an Oscar or something you can just be rough on. They're tough fish, don't get me wrong. If they survive the Amazons and all these climate changes, they're tough. They're the survivors out of the batches that died during the drought. But still, they're Amazonian fish that I don't know where you guys are from, but if you bring to North America or Australia or Asia, it's not gonna be the same water. So make sure to gently acclimate them to your water conditions. So on this, I will not bore you any longer with just giving you tips and clues. I will show you my main tank because I did a little bit of a change on my main tank. So let's go see it. Whoop. And as you can see, I've added a background. So now my main tank is a little bit darker. I hope you can see properly. But I don't know, I found that it was too bright in my main tank. And maybe that spooked my fish sometimes. So now I added a black background, and I find that the fish colors are way more vivid. So let me come closer and show you what I mean. Hope you can see properly. Sorry, my terrarium lights in the background. As you can see, my fish are quite bright now. Some are dark, but that's because of the black background also. But most of them really they contrast well to the black background. You let me know what you think. Alright, on this note, thank you so much for watching. If you enjoy my videos, please don't forget to subscribe and hit that like button if you really love me a lot. And I'll see you next time. Bye!